Welcome, everyone, to another session of Journey to Ragnarok, a campaign of mythical proportions. As always, to recap our last session, we have a very lovely recap whenever you're ready.
Well, I rolled a 19 performance, just now, so we'll see how it goes. Valiant combatant, water-dashed warrior, as in the depths appear danger dodges. A moment of farsight, of ship sailing, struggling, currents to cavern dark water doth drag. And later on shore, as companions gain respite, with food and with tales told around cheerful fire, sea-sodden soldier rejects words and rest, and ponders new unease with diving the depths. Astrid all angst, avows fault in fighting, while heart-friend Gwynephea gives encouraging word. But Opier, disagreeing, calls out young Scald's cowardice at forsaking valor, the Aesir to shame. While wending through winter, a poor soul discover, the young ones a desolate elder assist. Irma, a widow, sad in the snowfall, gathering wild growth to collect to craft charms. All of the heroes offer their service, courteous care they give to old Irma, who gets them to Grotto, where deadwood grows green. Mountain Mouth entered, grandmother mutating from kindly old lady to horrific sea hag. Full frightens with magic the well-meaning warriors, with gaze glowering, visage violent, and sharp-cutting claws. Steady-eyed Tobias shoots straight, soul to sunder. Grim Gwen, off-guardian Opier, send fire and sear slashes. Though terror and trembling tempt battle to bail, when Sea Hag is slaughtered, terror turns backwards. Relief reigns o'er dread with victory over vile. Never neglecting pious duty, Tobias burns body and turns judgment of hag crimes to all-seeing gods. Then Hallward turn heroes with Seer's search completed. Full thanks from Thorgest, their rest to provide.
And with that, you all wake up on a fresh day after a long rest. And before we get into what everyone would be doing in this downtime, because I don't remember if we did this last session, let's go one by one and tell the lovely people what you guys took for your level ups, starting with Opier.
Well, I took my subclass of Battle Master, and then with that, I get all kinds of fun things. I took some, let's see. So I get Student of War, which means I get to, get proficiency with a type of artisan's tools. So I picked up Woodcarver's tools proficiency, since we're out in the woods a lot, and who knows? Weapons also have wood in them, so I'll use that for something. I got my combat superiority dice, which are some d8s right now, and then the maneuvers that I picked up were tactical assessment, goading attack, and bait and switch. And then, obviously, I got some HP. So my HP is 32 now.
Fun. Now, Tobias.
I also got my specific archetype. I picked up Order of the Mutant for my Blood Hunter archetype. I rolled pretty well for health, so I'm hoping I stay a little tankier. And for my mutagen, I picked up... I don't think I picked one, but it's gonna be Celerity.
Okay. Astrid, you haven't had anything because I'm thinking of the wrong person. Astrid, what'd you get?
I got to choose my Bard's school, and as should surprise no one. We're looking at College of Glamour. Got some fun things with that. I'm excited for the sort of debuff of enthralling performance, which means I can, perform at 3 creatures for a minute, and then if they don't make their wisdom saving throw, they are charmed for 1 hour by me, with, of course, the usual conditions of damage, I attack it, or if I attack their allies. And then for the buff, I can use a Bardic Inspiration to give my friendos some HP. And then when I do that, they can use their reaction to book it wherever they want with their speed without getting opportunity attacks. Which I did not know that part of it, of Mantle of Inspiration, and I dig it.
That's spicy.
It is really good, isn't it? I did not roll so well on my HP. I'm a robust and exciting 24 hit points. It could be worse, though.
And last but not least, the person who's already had their subclass but gets some new spells. Gwyn, what did you pick up? Yeah, push to talk. You're talking, no one can hear it. I'll remind you again, you're on push to talk.
How about now?
Yep.
Okay, I have to have the web browser open. Okay, lesson learned. So I got a couple new spells. I got access to level 2 spells, which are super fun. So the choice for the level 2 spell is none other than Dragon's Breath, because that's really fun. And then on top of that, I got Detect Magic, which is going to be very useful, I'm sure, in this world. And I also got, I think I also got Frosty Fingers on top of that. And I actually also rolled pretty well on my health. I'm a wizard with 21 health, so I'll take it when I can.
Nice. So now, in the downtime of a couple days, we'll start with you guys wake up. You were gifted I believe it was some gold and some honey mead, honey ale.
50 gold and 1 cast honey mead. I was going to ask you, is that 50 each, or?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
But at the top of day 1 of the week, we will just go in order of roll 20. So Opir,
Yes.
what do you do?
Well, I want to go and find, like, the smithy, and go and work with the smithy. And we're going to be doing, there's basically 5 days, right, before the next main thing happens?
About.
Okay. So I am going to go work with, go see where the forge is, kind of learn more about the forge in this town in particular, and then get out my smith tools, and I'm going to start working on a little project that's going to take me probably 2 days to craft if I look at the equivalent of what it is in that table I sent you a while back. So it's going to take me about 2 days, I think, and about 5 gold worth of money, worth of materials.
Well, I'm using my own crafting thing.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just using this as an idea for time frame for me. You can do whatever you want, but just so I have an idea of how long it should take.
So first roll me a history, please.
Dude. 9.
I mean, there's nothing fancy or special about the forge here. You know, you met the smith when you first came to Uppsala, whose name was something. I'm sure I said it at some point. But I don't remember it now. Most towns like this have a smith. It's nothing special. You go in, you ask to work. It will be 3 gold to use his materials.
Sure, I will give him 3 gold pieces.
And if it will take you today and tomorrow to work on it.
Okay, that works.
So we'll say for the if there's anything else you'd like to do these 2 days, let me know. Otherwise, we'll say these first 2 days are you working.
I will see, because I saw in the one I sent you anyway. I don't know if it's something that we could work on, because I'd like to try eventually to like work on like maintaining stuff when we're out in the wild. But obviously, smith tools are loud, so maybe if I can, in using his supplies, maybe pay him a little bit more if it comes to it. But see if there's maybe someone in this town or some way that I could figure out to almost put like a silence effect on, like a permanent silence effect on my smith tools. So if I use them when we're not like in a secure place, that I don't, attract a bunch of shit to us. So yeah, if I get like silence or muted even smith tools, some type of enchantment for that, that would be, I would ask them to, I don't know, see if that's even a possibility while I'm working on what I'm working on.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So first, let's roll for your project. You will be making a smith. You have smith tools.
Yes, I do.
You will be making a smith tools roll using your strength.
Ooh. All right. Let me. Oh, I already had them in here. Why did I add them? I didn't see them the first time. Okay. So I have proficiency. I have full proficiency in them. I am using strength. Smith tools. 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see here.
Ooh, can I, because I think it would be cool, can I, this silver dagger hilt that we have, that we found, that has no blade on it, it's just that hilt, can I incorporate that to be the hilt of this? It's worth 10 gold pieces. I don't really care the value of it, it just looks cool. So, cool. I want to work that in there, and I assume using better materials will probably not make it magical, but it'll make it maybe easier.
It'll make it shinier.
Yeah, too. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I like it.
So, you begin working on it for your couple days. It's a nice looking item. It has some, kinks and flaws in it. It's not the most beautiful looking. It'll suffice. Do roll me a d20 though.
13.
13. Okay. So, I will be whispering this to you.
Okay.
I can't whisper this to you because your O is weird. I'll do it on Discord.
Yeah. Maybe.
Do it on Discord. So the item, it's usable. However, due to, not being your best work, it does have some downsides and flaws to it. And this is one of them.
Interesting. Okay.
So you've made it the best you can, but as you're kind of holding it and inspecting it, it is very loud. Something about the way you worked it, it's just clinging around.
Interesting. All right.
But for your other than that, works perfectly fine. Works how it's intended. For your second thing, roll me an investigation to find someone who'd be possibly able to help. Okay, 19.
Actually, I'm gonna, since the thing has not been made yet, I am gonna go ahead and use one of my superiority dice for this maneuver, and add a D8 to my my thing.
Your investigation?
Yeah. So 7 more, so 26.
Okay. Let me see here.
I wanted something that wasn't just combat oriented. So, give myself inspiration.
Okay. Let me... Okay, so you find one of the diviners, the people of the temple. You bring your question to them. They say that they they can perform what you're asking. It will take some time to imbue your items, your smith's tools, and for the materials to be used, they ask for 50 gold pieces. 50 gold for the time and materials.
Do they say how long it will take to do?
Since it's a rather simple spell, you would be out of your smith's tools for around 3 days' time.
That's fine. If I need some, I can probably just pay the smith to let me borrow his in that time frame. Yeah, that's fine. I will. How about we just say that I did this at the beginning, and then I give the smith a little bit more money if he needs it, so I can borrow his smith tools. So, like, how much? 52 gold? 2 gold to borrow his tools for the couple days? And...
Well, we'll say the 3 gold to use his materials would be also using his forge and everything.
Awesome. Then I will give them 50 gold pieces that I just earned to enchant my smith tools to be, like, silent smith tools.
Yep.
Cool. That way I can work on stuff out in the wild and not have metal on metal clanging, echoing through the mountains and causing more problems. But yeah, other than that, I think I might try on the second half of the time we have off to maybe try and make another one of those same weapons and see if I can make it better than before, but I can just roll for that if you want.
I will say, for the purposes of it, they will imbue your tools with silence. For noise-related things, yeah, you'll be fine. But since, smith's tools, you still have to get a fire going, heat up your weapons, do all that. So for visual stuff, I'll say you have advantage to hide it.
Oh, okay, cool. And then silence, there just is none. But
for sound, no one's gonna know.
Cool. And then I'll just
if you're trying to
make
more. Yeah, so 3 more gold for materials to try and make another one. You will roll the same thing. Smith's tools with strength.
Alright. Use proficiency 23.
Wow.
Better than my 15 from before.
This one comes out much better.
Okay. And
this time, let's see.
Because I have it and I just want to get rid of materials, I'm gonna use this damaged wolf pelt I have and wrap that around the hilt of this one.
Okay. Roll me 3d20.
Oh, spicy. 13, natural 20, 19.
Okay. So, you make this weapon perfect. You ignore, you build past the mistakes you made on the last one. You throw the wolf pelt around the grip, which makes it easier to hold onto, giving it this capability, which I am messaging you. 13, 19, and 20.
13, natural 20, 19, yep.
Okay. You also, as you make it, it is very easy to hold. It feels nice to use and wield, giving it this as well. And lastly, compared to the last one, the craftsmanship of this item is superb. It doesn't make it magical, but it does give it this as well.
Cool. I will nod to the smith after. I like to imagine that I worked on the first one thinking I knew all about what I was doing, and then I got all of my mistakes pointed out to me, and I requested help and some tutoring from this master smith, since I am using his forge and his materials and his space, and had him kind of show me where I could do better and improve. And with guidance from the smith, I was able to improve exponentially in just a short amount of time on this specific thing I had already been working on. And I don't really have a use for the first one. Since it's got that 10 gold piece, 10 gold piece silver hilt on it, I will give it to him as just kind of like a thanks for teaching me how to make this better. And if he wants to sell it or do whatever with it or break it back down, it is his to do whatever he wants with it. And I will keep this one for now, and then whenever it comes back around and we all meet back up as a group again, I want to find Tobias.
Okay, so, all right. Anything else you want to do on the few days you're waiting for your smith's tools, or are you just relaxing in the temple and just kind of walking around town?
Yeah, just like when I'm not smithing, I'm just kind of walking around exploring, just kind of learning a little bit about what goes on in this town and just passing through and just observing and making myself not too suspicious.
Okay. As you are working on your crafts and finding someone to imbue your smith's tools with silence, we move to Tobias. You wake up in the morning. You see that. You wake up on the first morning. You see that Opier is already set off on whatever he wishes to do. What would you like to do in this week of downtime on day one?
So I think it's about time Tobias completed his Icy Crows training, or at least revisited it. He needs to understand how the universe works. He needs to try to understand what's going on with like this bad feeling he has that something really bad, really big is coming. So he's gonna look for an Icy Crow Elder for further instruction, and this is where I'm gonna learn a Satru.
Yep. You can easily find one of the elders in the temple. You sit down with them. They teach you the ways. It does more or less take the entire day. It is an extensive teaching and learning, having to drill the entire history and knowledges into your brain. So you're gone for the first day learning with one of the elders. And you can indeed add a Satru to your skill list and gain proficiency in it. As we have discussed, I will say, as this is a different way of teaching, to gain proficiency and learn a Satru, you will forgo your proficiency in Arcana.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to remove that tiny little dot. But yes, agreed.
And so you spend your first day doing that. Day 2 comes around. Anything you'd wish to do?
Yeah, once that's all said and done, I think I would like to look for an enchanter. I mean, possibly within the Icy Crows as well, to enchant my shield with protective runes and turn it into a +1 shield.
Okay, so give me an investigation with advantage.
Investigation with advantage. Would it be reasonable to say I can cast guidance on this part?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I will roll investigation.
Who are you asking guidance from?
I am gonna ask for guidance from... I'm gonna say Frigg, since Frigg is kind of the goddess of community and families. It probably helps me find who I need to look for in the community.
Okay.
So, by Frigg, who would help me protect myself and my allies better? Is kind of the query I send to the heavens. Advantage. Roll. Okay. And roll. 1d. Oh, not 1d45. There we go.
Okay, you can indeed find an enchanter, the same one that Opure went to, even. As upgrading to a +1 and adding that sort of enchantment is a bit more powerful than, making something silent. They would take your shield for the rest of the week, and for the time and materials, they ask for 115 gold pieces to be able to enchant your shield to make it more capable of protection.
Okay, 115 paid in full.
And at the end of the week, you would get your shield.
Excellent. And probably the last thing I would do while they're working on my shield would be just to double check with Astrid, or perhaps send a messenger falcon, or have something happen where I can get my replacement assault axes.
Okay. Well, while you're doing all of that, we move to Astrid. And
Yes,
your
hello.
downtime activities.
I think that first of all, it would be an easy matter to help you with that, Tobias, because I can, just bug the Jarl for a replacement in the name of my father or whatever. So I'm sure that he would set you up with something nice, something that replaces what you had. And Astrid would absolutely not, imply that you lost it through cowardice or anything like that. She would probably puff it up so that you, definitely lost it directly in, saving your comrades or whatever. So just for a little cred for her friend.
Sweet. I like it.
I think the first thing that Astrid, she's in very introspective mode right now. So she first of all would want to go to any of the scalds that are here in this hall, since every sort of major jarl is going to have at least one, and just kind of have a chat with them in order to just get some new stories to hear, the epics that they have, to work on committing those to memory so that she has more of a repertoire, and also to kind of compare, here's how I know this story, how do you know it, kind of those regional and community differences. And that would take a while, just especially in the memorizing and sort of the, that sort of back and forth of the Scald's going to tell a section and then she's going to try to repeat it back and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you're doing this for quite some time. So
Yeah.
So it'd take a day. You're going around to all the people in the village and asking about. Give me a back-to-back straight charisma followed by performance.
Sure. And I'm fine with this taking more than one day. There's the charisma.
Okay,
Boo,
so we'll
there's
say,
the performance.
So you take your good part of, about 2 days-ish, speaking with these scalds and some of the more elders of the village. You sit down, you take your time to learn poems. You're the poem person, so you can pick whatever ones you'd like to know in character. But you do take the time to learn some new stories. One in particular definitely does catch your ears. One of the elders speaks of stories about a supposed troll king in the mountains.
Ooh.
And his kin and family who live there. And you're able to repeat it back. It's... You get some words wrong.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're able to jot most of it down and learn the tales of the surrounding areas and some of the gods.
In this story about the Troll King, does the story go so far as to mention a specific mountain or mountain range or area, or is it just kind of one of those general, up in the cold kind of things?
I can get that for you.
Okay.
Just hold, please. Hold, please.
Certainly.
Please hold.
And I can also ask you another question I'm sure that there are details in this particular poem about maybe battling this troll, maybe some notable warriors who, I don't necessarily need names, but notable warriors who went out and tried to take care of this issue.
Yes.
Okay.
I will get that to you.
That's fine. Yeah.
While I load that up, what would you like to do for your final few days?
I did want to check in with Big Jarl, kind of take my responsibility seriously for a change in terms of being a representative of my father, and just he already sort of told us, that things are tough here in Uppsala. That it seems like this winter is really bad, and he's hoping for some relief for his people. But Astrid would like to know if there's anything above and beyond that. Like, has there been, I don't know, a lot more wolf incursions, or have people been reporting strange portents in the skies, or anything like that? And then just generally, if there's anything in particular, messages or wants or needs that she can convey to her father when they go back.
Ooh, I got something for you. Okay, hold on. Maybe I don't.
I like to hear. Oh, come on.
No, I think
Yes,
I
you
do. You would know that the Troll Cavern, as it's called, is indeed... Ooh, as everything slowly loads... is indeed... Oh, as my map fades in. Why you gotta be so blurry? Stop that.
It's being dramatic.
It is.
The slow reveal.
Okay. It is in this mountain range.
Oh, okay.
It's a good thing that mountain range is so small.
Hold on. Hold, please. I will be right back. Okay, we're back. I had to announce the winner of Dexter Clue for my family.
Oh.
My older brother won.
Let the guy with the radio host voice do it. I don't blame him.
Okay. So, What was the last thing you were trying to do?
Just checking in with the Jarl and seeing if there was anything extra weird happening around, on top of just kind of this winter sucks. And seeing if there's anything in particular that he wants to ask for or notify my father about.
Oh, yes, and one of the things you would learn about the story of the Troll King is it may not just be a story, as rumors have it of the cries of the king himself being heard in the mountains, and people speak of one of his kids being missing.
Oh.
And from the Jarl himself, he would say that other than, the harsh winter approaching, not much has been out of place, although recently it feels like to him, with all the good fortune he's trying to gain for Uppsala in the readings, something does stick out to you, as he says it's odd that but a few days ago he was able to fully retell, oh boy, how do you pronounce this word? AETT. You would know. Et?
Et? Yeah, just et.
Et? He would say that he's having trouble retelling the Et of Freya. He knew it by heart but weeks ago, but something's going on. It's odd that he can't remember it, because he's usually so good at remembering these things.
And that's the Jarl who's having trouble with that, or his Skald?
That is the Jarl himself.
Okay. Ooh, that is weird. And it's been like a couple weeks, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Does that correlate?
The memory loss has only recently started.
Okay, so would that correlate with any weather? Did it correlate with one of the bad readings from the diviners?
Give me a history.
Sure. Ooh.
It's possible you don't really you might be well versed in the stories, but you might not be well versed in the readings of runes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It could be, it might not be, it might mean something, it might mean he's getting old. You don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That would definitely stick out to her as something odd, because for a Skald in particular, the thought of losing that kind of memory is just scary.
Mm-hmm. And I assume that's what you're talking to him over the next few days.
Yeah. And then I had 2 more conversations that I want to have.
With?
One of them with Tobias.
We will get to those on the final day.
Okay, perfect.
But first, we will go to Guinevere. What would you like to do? You have push to talk.
Yes, I do, and I figured out how to use it. How's that for me? So,
what are your plans?
So the first day, I'm going to seek out a skull as well. Skull, pronunciation is gone. I'm going to seek out one of the seers and see if they can teach me a couple new useful spells.
Mm-hmm. They can certainly.
Cool. As I know this area, I would try to go to the most seasoned person. to basically just try to get the best teachings that I can, because I would know who to look for.
Yes, you would, and you find the elder who you first met in when you came to Uppsala, the one who asked you about your family and how they were doing. You find him.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. And he will begin assisting you in taking these days to learn some spells. So, for the first day, do you have a specific spell you'd like to learn?
Let me pull up the list that I sent you. Hold on.
I know I said it earlier in the Roll20 chat, but this really is the shopping yet not shopping episode of our campaign. And it fits. Because you guys are kind of shopping, but not really. You're shopping for knowledge.
That's right.
We're shopping for
We
experience,
love shopping for knowledge.
which is basically
and
interning in
experience.
the real world.
Basically.
Intern week.
Right?
I'm learning through experience. I'm paying someone to teach me something. It straight up is intern week.
Screw a shopping episode. This is the interning episode.
Yeah, it is. We don't shop here. We
Really?
pay someone to make it.
So I think the first thing that she would try to learn is identify.
Okay. And we... talked about learning spells. So you would take your time to learn Identify from him. It's not necessarily that he pulls out a book, because not many people have books. It's very rare. You're one of the few people who, like the 1 in 3 people who actually have a book and know how to read it. So he pulls out some drawings and scribbles of these spells that you're able to copy down into your book. He pulls out some scrolls that have writings on them and drawings that you're able to copy down and eventually learn Identify. So that is no problem for you.
Huzzah! I know spells.
I think, what was it? We agreed on a day, a spell?
Yeah, it was a day of spell if I'm getting taught, and then if I'm doing it on my own, it's 2 days.
Yes. So you have Identify for day 1. Day 2 rolls around. Anything else? Any specifics?
Yeah, so day 2, to help close any gaps within communication, comprehend languages.
Okay, yeah. He pulls out another scroll, some drawings. The elders have to know their languages to be able to read the runes and everything. So he does have comprehend languages, and you're able to learn that as well. So, huzzah! Another spell.
Fantastic. And then if I get one more day with him, it's going to be a very shy request to learn how to cast Find Familiar.
Okay. He sits down with you and spends... This is an interesting one. So he would sit down with you on day 3 and possibly even into day 4 a little bit. Sitting down with you, teaching you the intricacies of Find Familiar and how to call forth a creature from one of the 9 realms to aid you in your journeys. And we'll say the afternoon of day 4, you finally get the hang of it and are able to call forth your own little familiar from one of the other realms to be by your side. And you learn Find Familiar.
Yay! Those are the 3 spells that I would want to learn with an elder.
Okay. And that would be bring you to day 4. Anything else you'd like to do on your final day-ish?
If I don't get interrupted by anybody, I would start my own personal studies on spells.
Okay. What would you like to learn?
So I have so my first one for the first 2 days, I would like to learn Wither and Bloom, and that's an attack spell for basically dealing necrotic damage and taking it and turning it into life essence for people.
So you'd be spending your final 2 days learning this.
Yep, perfect.
All right, so you are able to get Wither and Bloom, and on the morning of, we'll say on the morning of day 5 is when all of you are really convened and together. So Astrid, you're able to have your conversations with everyone, and you're all together again. Take it away, people.
Okay, well that works nicely. This is not a bad thing to do with everybody. So I guess once everybody kind of congregates, Astrid says, I have been thinking a lot over the last couple of days, and I have some things, I guess, that I need to say to everybody. Opir, I don't know if you remember what you said to me right after we got finished fighting the Draugr. It might have just been, something in passing, or that you don't remember.
No, I remember. I told you that you should have ran away faster. Strategically, it makes the most sense to have run away faster, so I remember saying it. I could have probably said it nicer, but I remember.
Like I said, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I think maybe it's good that you didn't say it nicer. And yeah, I mean, strategically, that's true. You're stronger than I am, but it made me think about how much I have been expecting all of you to help me, and I haven't really been brave. So I just wanted to say thank you for making me think about that, and that I will try to do better. And Gwen, you're my best friend, and you always support me and encourage me, but maybe you shouldn't so much. Because I think maybe even though you're being nice, maybe I think I'm better than I am.
Maybe it's not so much what I say, maybe it's how you interpret it.
Oh. I guess I should think about that too.
Consider them as words of encouragement, not words of stroking an ego.
Okay. I will do that. I will do that. Tobias, You've saved me a lot of times already, and I guess this last time I died, and the other day I just, I gave you a bracelet for saving me, and I was really glib about it. I mean, I know that giving gifts and things is something that I've learned from my father. But I was acting like it wasn't a big deal, and it was a big deal. You put yourself into danger for us a lot, and I need to thank you properly and seriously, and I will try not to overlook what you have been doing for me anymore. So thank you for saving my life.
You're welcome, Astrid. And if it means anything, and if it comforts you, I've never felt overlooked. It just felt like the right thing to do.
Well, I think that's part of what makes you good, Tobias. And I have a lot to learn from all of you. That's it. That's all. We should drink something, right?
That's a really good idea.
That is a great idea. I could use a break. My head hurts.
How convenient that you have honeymead.
Perfect.
While we're all here, I've been working on something. So remember when we were fighting and I refused to let my axe go?
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Oh,
Well, there are a couple things. One, this was the first thing I ever made, so I'm never gonna. It was made. I made it with the help of, well, my dude, basically. My mentor. He helped me make this. It's the first thing I ever successfully made that didn't break within about the first couple of hits. So it's very sentimental to me. So I will not let this go. But in combat, I did see Tobias, you lost your weapon and you were unable to retrieve it. And I'm not going to just jump in the water and get it for you because that's terrifying. Let that be known. But I did use some of the materials that we gathered. I was working on something this week. The first time it didn't really come out too well, but the smithy helped me knock out some of the kinks, and I've got this really, well, it's a piece I'm proud of, and I want you to have it. And so I go out to where I was sleeping, and I come back with this real nice axe, this artisanal assault axe, and let's see if I can show it. This is what it does. I made you this axe. Basically, it's really hard to lose the grip on it because of the wolf pelt that I wrapped around it. It's perfectly balanced. Effectively, you can re-roll your nat ones once and take that new roll. And it's got a +1 to damage, not to attacks, and it's not magical, so it just does more damage. This thing should allow you to at least have a better opportunity to defend yourself and, well, us. And it's unlikely, hopefully, that you will lose this, because it took me quite a few days to make. So,
I
here you go.
take this with the utmost humility, Opier. Thank you. I was not expecting this.
Well, I don't want you to feel defenseless in the fact that you lost your weapon, and I felt kind of bad that I wasn't going to save yours. So, yeah, just keep it. I'm going to work on more as we go. I actually had to have my tools adjusted so I can work out in the open on upgrading all of our stuff and maintaining our equipment. That is something that's, I don't know if any of you knew, but I am an aspiring smith alongside my past. I want to just be able to make sure that where I go and the people I go with can protect ourselves and do things appropriately. Because you can't always have the ability to get a new weapon or a new armor, so it's always wise to have somebody who can create or maintain the equipment that you do have whenever possible. So just take care of this one and try not to lose it. So, because it's really hard for me not to keep this for myself, but I think it would do better in your hands than mine. So
I will try my utmost. Thank you. And then he's gonna extend a hand out, and you know that handshake that guys
Predator
do?
handshake.
The predator
Yeah,
handshake.
Ah,
I'll predator handshake Tobias over
Oh.
Axis. So, but yes, I rolled. That's what I was rolling the d20s for, to see what we would get. And the grippy is just kind of funny that you lost it before and now you have advantage on not losing it. So
right? That's just amazing.
yeah, the dice tell their
Dice
story,
tell the
man.
story.
Actually, I wanna check something. I wanna see if it just adds in the damage
Just
as like
wanna
a base
just
thing.
give
real
a
quick.
quick shout out. Hashtag not sponsored. Give a quick shout out to Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting for the crafting table.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
roll this and
nice.
see if it does the +1 basic. Yep, there's your extra +1 damage, and there you
Hashtag
go.
not sponsored, but would love to be.
But yeah, there you go.
Please do.
So you can put whatever picture you want if you want to make it in D&D Beyond or whatnot, but that is what I made in my time in this
Excellent.
town. So you now have this real cool axe. So cast light on it. And
here.
it's basically like the axe from Seven Deadly Sins.
Up here, so you're guarding us in all kinds of ways.
I mean, strategically, I guess, sure. I would still advocate running away sometimes. That's
Well,
good.
but I
Retreating from the
mean,
rear is a good maneuver.
if you're even making sure that our equipment is taken care of, that makes sure that we're doing the best that we can.
Yeah, but
This
if
is
you
beautiful.
yeah, I'll do my best. Just don't fall any lakes, cause, well, I'm not gonna jump in after you.
And
So
as you're gifted this axe, Tobias, one of the persons in the temple approach you with your shield and hand it to you. So you also have a +1 shield.
Excellent. Thank you, Elder.
They nod their head and go back to what they were doing.
Astrid pokes Gwen and says, fairly quietly, "There's something also about that axe shield combo that makes Tobias even more handsome, don't you think?"
Oh yeah, I completely. Wait, what? She shouts, "Wait, what?" Way too loud.
Astrid just laughs.
Tobias rolled around. Wait, what?
What? What do you, what? Huh?
What this beautiful fact?
I'm gonna look at the elder. Did my tools manage to get finished being enchanted by chance?
One of the a different elder, the same elder does walk up to you as well after returning with your supplies. You kind of take them. You take one of the hammers in it. You bang it against one like a piece of scrap metal. No noise.
Nice. While they're, I like to imagine this kind of happens as they're having their situation. I nod. Thank you. You guys want to see something real cool?
Always.
Hey, Tobias, lay your shield down for me real quick.
As you say.
Watch this. Don't worry, it won't do any damage. And I spin my smithing hammers in both my hands, and I just start rapping on the shield as hard as I physically can. No noise. Completely silent. Silent tools.
Gwen's jaw hits the floor. She's like, "What?"
Shame.
possible?
How did you do that?
I paid someone who was much better with magic to enchant them to be silent, so that when we're out in the woods, I can, like I said, maintain armor and weaponry without attracting the noise of, well, without attracting anything around us.
An
That's
aspiring blacksmith indeed. That is genius.
incredible.
Also, before we leave town, I want to find and buy some woodcarver's tools too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're only 1 gold piece. Pfft, okay, according to the book, I'll take them.
Oh, I'll say during one of your days that you're kind of just
Yeah.
walking around.
Yeah, for sure.
But as you all have your tools and you kind of prepare yourselves for the day, you head outside of the temple. You see the sky is a vast expanse of dark gray clouds continually evolving, pulled apart by the invisible claws of winter and wind. The air is cold, damp, and full of tension, atmospheric as well as emotional. The faces of the people of Uppsala betray the despair that grips them after yet another adverse divination. They seem to not trust the new diviner, that much is sure. Uppsalans walk along the muddy streets, minding their own business without ever lifting their eyes from the ground. They speak only when necessary, as if words were a precious treasure. You have served the Jarl and his new diviner, Thorgest, have earned yourself food, lodging, and a decent wage. However, it is a couple days since the rune master named Thorgest Wolfheart has locked himself in his hut to meditate, since you've last seen him when giving him the supplies for his divination. With him locked away, the Jarl also not seeming to need your services currently, you head out with your new gifts in tow to possibly go hunting or walk the town, just to see what is about, as you hear screams coming from... As it loads, come on!
Were there any additional potions in this town that could be purchased?
None that you found, but
Okay.
as you leave,
That's
you hear screams coming from the priest camp.
Alright. Excellent.
What would you all like to do?
Run towards the screaming.
Exactly. With my shield and new grippy assault axe equipped.
Okay. You guys run towards the screaming, where you find a group of Uppsalans around 2 fishermen who are loudly calling for help. You see both of them are visibly scared and exhausted, and you see some people coming up to them to help. You see an older man with shaggy gray hair and a beard, and what looks to be maybe his son, who seems to be around 30 years of age and has long graying hair tied in a braid, as the younger one is kind of still screaming for help and is just shouting out loud about the situation.
Well, let's go.
Do I recognize these people?
You guys do not. However, Opier
Hmm.
can roll me a history with advantage.
Ooh.
Ooh. Alright. I'm gonna use, because I can use these for investigation, history, or insight checks. I am gonna use a superiority dice and roll a d8 and make a quick tactical assessment for a 24.
Okay, you recognize these men. The older man is named Urvi, Urvi, and the younger man is named Yurik, Yurik. They are father and son. They are fishermen who live along the coast. They often go to the Fenmark, which is a swamp area, to spread their large large nets in order to catch fish and other crustaceans. So you know of them. You know them.
Okay.
You recognize them. You may not know them, but you recognize them.
What were their names again?
Irvi is the father. You are VI, and Yurik is the son. YURIK.
Irvi, Yurik. What's going on?
You walk up, and you kind of give me a, because Yurik is kind of shouting still. He's shouting his story. It's hard to hear Irvi speaking. Give me a. You can give me a. You can give me a persuasion to try and calm down Yurik.
Could I just do athletics to grab him by the shoulders and snap him into place?
Sure.
Or I could give you advantage. Either way.
I'm just gonna physically grab this man and just snap him into place.
You kind of grab
Okay,
his
never mind.
shoulders, you grab his shoulders, you kind of shake him, you calm him down. You kind of sit him down and let Irvi speak as his son was kind of speaking over him. And Irvi begins speaking and says, I know there are numerous villages in the Fenmark mists, swamps, outcasts. Some are cannibals, bloodthirsty killers, but there are also so many unfortunate families that call that in hospital land home. We sailed for about 2 days. Our ship is small, but travels very fast. He kind of swallows and begins talking again. It was late at night, the best time to catch squid with a lantern when we saw the sky light up on the Fenmark. A great fire, no doubt, but I also saw blue and greenish flashes like the northern lights. As a young man, I went to Flagenbar, the village on the coast. They are mostly fishermen, good people. They go about their business and don't bother anyone. Who could have slaughtered them? Coming back so fast, we almost forgot about the offer to the horror chalet among the rocks halfway. It is said to have the hardest armor in the steel, and claws can break the oars. Hunger can be appeased only with meat. And he kind of looks down, terrified, and finishes his story.
Does this, fisherman sea legend, which I assume this is kind of what this is, does it ring a bell? Is this something I've heard before?
Will you use your last superiority die on the final history check?
I get them back. I get them back every short rest.
Well,
So I effectively still. I have. Oh. Well, I was gonna say I've effectively still got 3 because I used 1 on a check from the day before. But
you
no,
did,
I'm
right?
just- Yeah. So I'll
I was
keep.
going to ask if I could do a history to see if I know any stories about them.
Sure, you can as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I got me 3 more. Woo!
Boo!
You know nothing about sea legends.
I do not.
Would the Northern Lights phenomena be anything like Asatru or history or anything like that?
Yes, you can give me an Asatru,
Wahaha! The first roll.
which uses wisdom.
Where's the normal roll on this thing? Weird. Okay, I probably need to work with this new custom skill somewhat, but there we go.
You actually able to add skills on D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
What? The whole
Yeah,
reason I wasn't going to do it was because I didn't think you could.
No,
You absolutely
you click
can.
on the gear at the bottom where it says skills, and you click on custom skills, and you just add a custom
I
skill.
am flabbergasted.
Yeah, you can add all kinds of stuff.
Oh
in there.
my god. The whole reason
more you
I was
know.
excluding it in the first place was because I did not think you could do that.
Heck, you could put any kinds of spicy checks you wanted in there too.
Okay.
So you don't make it up. You just got what you got.
Well, 13 Asatru, you think on it, the phenomenon he spoke of, seeing the northern lights or something flashing greenish and blue like the northern lights. You can gather that you're not entirely sure what it was, but you can definitely gather it probably wasn't the northern lights.
Okay.
Um,
That's fair for that check.
with an 18 history on the sea legend, you know that on the way to the Fenmark, there's an island in between Uppsala and the Fenmark that the legend most likely is true. That there's a large, chitinous and clawed creature that, if not appeased with an offering of meat, tends to be the ruin and destruction of fishermen trying to fish in that area. That is what you know.
So, it's real? You saw it? You saw the beast?
Yes, on our way to Fenmark, we gave it its offering. We saw its white hide and armor claw over the rocks and take our offering so we could pass. And with that, you would also know that it is an albino, lobster-like creature. Or so the tales go.
Then what happened on the way back? Did it need another offering, or you got taken off course?
We were fine on our way back. We came back as we could. We didn't want to die.
So what's got you all up in arms right now? Just the fact that you saw it?
No, the entire village of Flagenbar was massacred.
Okay. And you believe it was by this monster?
We think it was raiders.
How far is that village from here?
Map time!
Yeah.
As I slowly move.
Let's go to the map.
So, you are in Uppsala. There's the island. Here's the Fenmark.
Okay, so it's really not far. So the village was on the island, and that's what got destroyed.
The creature is on the island. To get past the island, in the Fenmark is where the village is.
Gotcha.
The creature is on the island, and you know, being a seaman, you would know that getting from one end to the other, getting from Uppsala to Fenmark, it'd be about around 4 or 5 hours of boating.
Okay.
And then the Fenmark also, despite it showing all trees, the Fenmark is swampland. You could get a boat through.
Alright. Raiders destroyed the village in the Fenmark. Is it something you think we should investigate? I look over to the group.
Well, I think the Jarl should certainly be notified, but it's something to do.
Well, apparently the legend is real. The albino crustacean that can kill, that is apparently real.
This would make a great poem. I'm just saying.
As you two are talking, everyone roll me a perception, please.
Perception. Not perception.
2 7s, a 19, and a... Waiting on... Gwynnethia. Gwynnethia, are you there?
You're on push to roll.
There you go. You have a +0 for your perception?
I do. All of my stuff is in intelligence. She is not a perceptive person.
Well,
Well,
only
if you're
Astrid would
perceptive
notice
enough.
it. Over the shoulder of Opir, you see a familiar face. You see Thorgest coming out of his hut. He seems tired, his eyes marked by deep shadows. It is evident that the ritual is testing him. You see his body is covered with red symbols, no doubt traced in blood. Covered by only his wolfskin coat, completely barefoot in the snow, he reaches you all and says to you, "It may be a coincidence, but I've got a hunch. If you've got nothing better to do, try and get the Jarl to let you investigate what scared these fishermen. Should he prove uncertain about an incursion into the Fenmark, well, you tell him such information could prove useful in dealing with the Odin's Eye and Wolves of the Shadows." And once he finishes saying that, he turns his back to your group and immediately walks back into his hut. As he returns to his hut, as you're kind of taking in that information, he throws a knowing eye to your group and slams the door shut as some snowfall shakes off of the roof.
Well, that was certainly a thing.
Yes, those would be my choice words in this situation as well. Most strange. But it seems like we should notify the Jarl and try to investigate this matter.
Can I roll an insight check on him? As somebody who came from the same group as him, is this normal for somebody within like his job, I guess you could say, like this type of response? Because it's very strange that he would come out to talk to us specifically and then go right back inside without greeting the Jarl or anything like that. Like, is that normal, or is that something that would cause a red flag?
I'm going to say no on the inside check just because of how quick he was in the being there and then being gone.
Okay.
Did any of those runes look familiar, Gwynnethia?
I don't know. He was so fast. He just came in and came out. If I had a little bit more time with him, I could give him a look over, but it sounds like time isn't really something we could spare at the moment.
Given his outfit, I'm not quite sure you'd want more time with him, but I know what you mean. Listen, leave the persuasion of the Jarl to me.
Very well.
So I'm gonna go find his Jarl ship, and I'm sorry I cannot remember his name by.
Jarl Alwrecker.
Right.
Before you go, I'm gonna say, Frigg, watch over you and your negotiations, and I will give you guidance.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So yes, I would like to look around and find him.
Okay. You are able to walk to his house, which is here, where you find the brothers, who I'm glad you guys wrote down the names of. You find the brother guards, Eirik and Kjall Eriksson, guarding the door. You guys are friends with them, so they let you in. And you are brought into the hall of Jarl Alrecker.
I do the usual, I'm good at this in terms of, bowing and saying the right things when I come in. And complimenting his baby, obviously. And then I will say, so interesting thing, some of your people, some fishermen have come back, out of the swampland, and there is a village where everyone has unfortunately been slaughtered, and they also caught sight of that fabled albino armored lobster, and we were wondering if you would like us to go check it out. It might be raiders, and that would be good to know if they are coming this close to your holdings.
And why should I finance such an expensive expedition to a place that has already been raided?
With all due respect, sir, I don't believe I requested financing.
No, but if I were not to arm you and aid in your journeys, and you fall on foreign land, your father would have my head. How can I be sure that this risk into an, as you say, already raided village would pay off?
I am willing to swear by whatever gods and oaths you wish that it will not be your fault and that no blood price will be sought should any harm come to us. That we do this of our own free will and because we feel that it is good for our people as a whole, not just your holdings.
Give me a persuasion.
And guidance is the D4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm going to use it. Ha!
He sits there, thinks for a little bit.
To mention, sir, that between you and me, my father has been despairing of me just a little bit. He thinks that I am too frivolous and not enough of a fighter, I hate to admit. So he might actually thank you for letting me have a little bit more experience out in the field.
Is everyone in the building, by the way? What's the situation? Did you guys let Astrid walk in herself?
No, I probably would have walked in, but I probably would have just stepped off to the side.
I would have been up and probably just a couple steps behind Astrid.
Okay.
I'm inside too.
So, Jarl Alrecker will kind of lift from his seat and walk over to you, Astrid, and kind of put his arm around your shoulder and kind of lead you away from the group for like a one-on-one conversation.
Oh boy. Okay.
And he looks at you and says, I appreciate and respect your ambition, little Astrid, and I have known you since you were very, very young. I let you do this, and you fall under my watch. I don't think your word or mine would save me from your father's wrath. I need assurance that whatever is happening in the Fenmark, I thank you and your group for your services. They have proved themselves great fighters. But I need you to stay safe. If you die, as I've said, it wouldn't be good for anyone.
But Uncle Alrecker, really want to see the lobster. You know I'm writing poems. Just, if it's real, I want to go see it. I really want to see it.
He kind of sighs and says, almost with a half smile on his face, no matter what I tell you, you're going to go, aren't you?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. But I'm serious. I will swear any way you want. I will write something for my father that you can send if anything happens. We can have it witnessed by the entire population.
He
I
kind of
promise this will not come down on your head.
he wraps his arm around your shoulder again and kind of walks you back to your group and shouts, Arek Kjol, come in here! And the door opens and the twin brothers walk in. And he says, you two, you are heading to the Fenmark.
Yes!
Take care of the young princess. And he kind of eyes you, Astrid, and says, I am not taking no for an answer.
Fine, I like twins. And I just, grab him around the neck and just kiss him on both cheeks. Just, mwah, mwah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I will provide a boat if you need it, but if you already have one, then even better.
Oh, we have the one we came in. Don't worry about that.
Alright, well, if there's anything else I can supply any of you, and he looks at the entire group, let me know. I would hate to send the young princess and her group unarmed into any danger on my watch.
Do you have any spare tents laying around?
Didn't you buy tents?
No. I don't think I did. I got bedroll.
I remember someone buying a tent.
I think I did. Let me look.
Someone
I have
bought
a tent. Never mind. I have 2 tents on my person.
Oh, there you
There
go.
you go.
they were in the place where I have 1 tent. They cost 2 gold pieces. They just weren't where I thought they were supposed to be. Yeah, I found them. Ignore me. I forgot I packed it.
Just check the front
could you-
pocket of your backpack. It's like, oh, there's the tent.
Just folds out.
Expendable.
Kind of a backhanded compliment. He puts his arm on your shoulder, or puts his hand on your shoulder up here, and goes, more brawn than brains, this one, huh? And he kind of slaps your thick shoulder.
I look him directly in the eyes. without backing down, not seeing this as a joke. I'm actually quite smart. I do not take well to insults to my intelligence. I don't care who you are.
He's a lot more talented than at first appearance, Sir Jarl.
I grab Opir's arm. I just go, Uncle, he's very, very serious. He's a very serious person. It's fine. Hey, let's go. I think we're ready. I think we have everything we need. Thank you. And I start kind of dragging Opir backwards.
I side-eye stare the Jarl the whole way.
That reminds me, Jarl, do you have any spare potions of healing before we set off?
Go speak with the elders in the temple if they have any to spare. We don't have much these days, but they may have one or two.
We actually got some stuff.
We have a
along
healer's kit with
them.
10 uses.
Yeah, we've got a healer's kit, and I feel like there's one other thing.
That's all I put in party treasure, so.
Okay.
I was hoping that we might be able to acquire some spare clothing. Our last couple adventures have led us to be rather damp, and having some backups would do us all good.
Right. That makes sense.
I'll see what I have in the stores. And he kind of snaps for one of his servants, whispers something to him. They go off. A few minutes later, they come back, and they're kind of apologizing to the Jarl. As you see, they only have 2 additional sets of cold weather clothing. As I've said,
It's better than none.
we don't have much these days. The winter's ramping up, and we need to keep as much as we can.
Yes, any that you can spare is most gracious of you. 2 will more than suffice. Thank you.
Nods his head.
Then I will put 2 additional sets of winter clothing in my inventory.
Okay. As you guys kind of head outside, with the twins in tow, Astrid, as you're kind of the last one to leave the building, the Jarl shouts for you and says, Astrid! And he
Yes!
he looks at you and just says, stay safe.
I will. They're very good at what they do. Don't worry. We'll be back.
He nods his head and turns around as the door closes. And you guys are now outside together as a group and with the twins in tow.
I'm sorry, spell their names for me.
They are in the party notes.
Wait!
Yeah.
Oh, no party notes that I forget about. Thank you.
Yeah, the one of the twins, Eirik, kind of looks at Astrid and looks at you, Tobias, and says, so to the Fenmarks, eh? What are we after?
We're not sure yet.
We can catch them up on it. Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna tell them that the story of the sea legend, and then the how they said they saw a town that had been raised.
Well, if anything goes wrong, you heard the Jarl, you have our axes.
Lovely. How old are they? Just checking.
They are what's the word? Identical twins, yeah?
Mhm.
I don't know if I described them before, but they're wearing, the usual Viking getup. They have that kind of almost cone-shaped helmet. They have leathers on. You see that they have kind of dirty blonde hair. One of them, Kjol, is completely clean shaven. The other brother, Eirik, has one of those, classic long beaded beards that are braided up. They are both 26 years of age.
Difference in facial hair is handy.
Yeah, that's what tells them apart. They look exactly the same otherwise, but to keep them apart once they started, becoming men and growing beards, their mother told them, "No, listen, one of you has to lose the beard."
Do they switch off like every other year? And just confound people?
It's possible, the twin trickery.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So I grab them, tuck my arm through both their arms and start walking, and I say, all right, why don't you boys go get whatever you need for this trip and meet us down at the dock?
Y'all pipes up and kind of looks over to his brother and says, well, I guess we can go grab some supplies at our house. Yeah, we'll meet you on the docks.
If there's a way that I could get it delivered, I would like to write 3 letters.
Okay.
Or I could have been writing them during the week and then had them sent today.
Yeah, you could you would have to bring them to the let's say yeah, you would bring them to the I don't know if there's a word for it in Norse history, but you would essentially bring it to the hand of the Jarl to have them delivered. Like, like the hand of the king, the hand of the Jarl.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the word. I know there's a word because I play Skyrim.
Yeah. I will... The 3 letters I'm writing, one of them is to my mother Gudni. Basically just letting her know where I am, that I'm alive, what's been going on. Just like a little general update. The second one will be to my mentor Orn, who is the one who helped me craft my first axe, the one that I have on me, who has taught me my battle stratagems and stuff like that. Letting him know of my successes in smithing with the help of the smith here, and I basically hyped up the smith here and how he taught me all this cool stuff, and how I was successful and able to make this really neat thing. But based on what he said, I gifted it to somebody else rather than keeping the things I make for myself. I spread them to those who could use them more frequently than I. And then I am going to write a letter to Tola, or shall I say Opier's ex of 3 years, who decided to call off their engagement because she wanted to be a warrior at that time. So I sent her a letter letting her know of the battles that I've had so far, and basically trying to talk myself up to being this real big badass, to try and win her favor back more.
Okay.
Being my own hype man.
Not that I plan on having these come back to bite you, but if you want to write down the 3 letters or the 3 names of the 3 people you wrote to and just send that information to me.
You have 2 of them. So in the thing I sent you, you got the family tree, so the mother's Gudni, and then the mentor's Orn, and then I'll send you the name of, it's on the questionnaire, but I'll send you the name of the other one as well.
So yeah, we'll tack that onto your couple days of just walking around.
Yeah, just writing letters. So if you send me the names later, I can give them to you for sure, but they're all in the stuff that I sent you.
Okay.
So.
Alright, so the twins are sent off to their house to gather supplies. What are you guys doing?
Oh, I was told to stop by the temple to see if there were any spare healing potions.
Indeed you were.
So I will be headed up to the temple.
We're gonna need meat for this if we're going past this island, so I'm gonna try and find somebody that will give us some. Or we're gonna have to hunt it.
You could take some time to hunt.
I think I would prefer to fish it, if possible.
Okay, yeah, you could do that.
I'll just go to the docks, I'll immediately go there after dropping off these letters, and I'll go to the docks and I'll start fishing, and then whenever we meet up and get on whatever boat we're getting on, I will set out the fishing stuff and go from there.
Alright, so you'll be fishing when you guys get on the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, so so Tobias heads towards the temple. Does that mean Opier's heading towards the boat?
Yes.
Alright, so what's Astrid and Guinevere doing?
Astrid is just bouncing around, gathering her stuff. This is, she had been sort of in a contemplative, melancholy mood, and this has gotten her all pumped up.
Okay. How about Guinevere?
Gwen would probably find her way to the boat, get her things situated on there, and cast Find Familiar.
Okay, what creature do you call forth from the 9 realms?
An albino lobster.
Yeah.
Get pushed to talk.
I know, it's this. Hey, this is just one day. One day I gotta deal with it. Actually, when the group would return, what they would see is circling overhead is a beautiful golden raven.
Ooh.
I like it. Posting something in our campaign chat because of that. As it fits. Okay, so you guys all set off to do your things. Tobias, you head up to the temple and ask about healing potions. Let's see, I'm gonna roll a dice.
Okay.
They can only spare one additional. One base healing potion.
If that's what they can spare, then that is what we were meant to have.
And eventually, you all find yourselves at the docks with the boat. Astrid and Gwyn, you find yourselves approaching the dock at the same time the twin brothers are. They seem to have geared up. You see they have some satchels on them. As you all prepare and head to your boat. What would you like to do?
Well, if we're gonna get on the boat, I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna start working with the rigging and getting the ship all seaworthy. I'm assuming there's a captain of this boat. Or am I going to be water vesseling this ship?
I
I feel like my father would have sent us with a couple crewmen.
Well, it's definitely not a big boat. Like, you guys aren't on a warship that you took when you came back.
Right.
It's definitely a smaller boat. It's not a, it's not like rowboat size. It's definitely bigger than that. It can hold maybe about, 10-ish people. So it's small, but it's not small,
Right.
So if your father did send someone, it would only have been like one person to man the helm.
Okay. Well, I mean, in my head canon, Astrid is actually a pretty good sailor also, so...
But do you have water vehicle proficiency?
I don't, but I can take orders just fine.
Well, whoever is captaining the ship, I'm gonna pat them on the shoulder and say, Njord is with us. They will allow us to cross the sea unhindered. And,
Is that guidance?
That is guidance. I had to look up who was this god of the sea.
As you say, Njord, I kind of look up and just give you this quizzical look. Like, okay.
As
That
you
is who I, worship.
prepare your gear and get it all into the boat and get ready to set off towards the Fenmark, this is where we will end our session.
Nice.
You guys are the second.
A calm and
Indeed,
peaceful.
a peaceful end for what is
Trip
going to be
into the
ramped up
horizon.
to
Just gonna
most likely
just
be a
be some
violent.
sights. No, it's just gonna be some sightseeing. It's fine, like a day trip.
Every good campaign needs its quote-unquote shopping episode.
Mm-hmm.
This was that episode. And, well, it's ramping up to what's probably going to be a session of nothing but fighting. So, hey, you have that to look forward to, right?
There you go.
Can I add one more thing that Guinevere does before we leave?
Sure!
As we're getting settled in, like on the boat, she would pull out she'd pull out a large piece of paper that she's been working on, and I would like to create a map of our journey as we're going, because I have cartographer's tools and proficiency in them, so I would like to map our journey.
Okay, so give me a...
Oh. Could I aid her? Because I'm also proficient in cartographer's tools.
Yeah, so I'll give it advantage. You can give me a cartographer's tools check using dexterity with advantage. And this is from Guinevere. Which is a d20 plus your proficiency plus something.
Take a bardic. I'm looking over your shoulder, giving you critique. And probably if you do opposite of what I say, it'll help.
I mean, she can also tell me what to do. My dex is probably better than hers.
She's the one doing it.
It's her idea.
Okay. Good luck, Gwen.
You left the roll 20, you can't make the roll!
Uh-oh. She's muted.
Oh my god, this couldn't be more of a comedy of errors tonight. Holy crap.
Do you want me to roll for you?
Yeah, I realized that I have cartographer's tools, but I don't have proficiency in it. It's calligraphy that I have proficiency in.
Oh, okay.
So
But you're gonna be able to put the names on
Well, then
it
you wouldn't
right
get
there.
proficiency in it, so you just roll using dex.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to do that. Can you roll for me? I can pull up the character sheet.
Yeah,
So
so
it's a d20
I'm
plus
rolling
your dex.
I have
dex.
it's 0.
D20.
Okay.
Solid D20.
What the fuck?
Natural 20! Natural 20. So,
Mercy on me. What is going on tonight?
so as you guys set off, Gwyn gets to work and starts making this map of the journeys, and it is dot to dot, location to location, everywhere you've been. It is a solid recounting and more. And as with that natural 20 to end the night, everyone say goodbye to YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Goodbye, YouTube. See you next time for a combat session, baby!
Next session, the Wrath of Sebastian.
Oh my god. Goodbye, YouTube. I'm not even saying my thing. That just upset me. Goodbye.